And for more on this, we turn to Adam Roberts. He's the CEO of the animal advocacy organization Born Free USA. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, as we just saw in a report, both China and the U.S. are currently working on a complete ban on ivory imports and exports, but also signed to a global accord last year in London to battle the illegal wildlife trade. Is this all a step in the right direction?
I think it is. We have to be very optimistic that any time the Chinese government takes steps to prohibit or significantly restrict the trade in elephant ivory and the commercialization of ivory within China, it's a step in the right direction. There are going to be some cynics who are going to look at the details and wonder what it means in terms of the total ban on ivory or a near ban on ivory. The devil really is in the details, but once those details are fleshed out, I think we'll start to see that the message is clear. There should not be a Chinese market for ivory, and that's an important step in the right direction.
Let's go to where this is all coming from. You know, various African countries have been working together on initiatives to protect elephants, but we're still seeing elephants dying. Why isn't it as simple as maybe putting a complete ban on poaching?
Well, actually, the problem is the demand side. So as long as there's a market for ivory anywhere in the world, whether it's in China or the United States, and within the United States, in specific states, there's going to be demand that's going to be filled by the poachers and the organized crime syndicates that fund the killing of these elephants. So the clear message has to be a uniform global prohibition on the commercialization of elephant ivory and rhino horn and other wildlife products as well, because that will lead to the markets for these products drying up. And if the markets dry up and the value of the ivory drops, people are going to stop poaching because it won't be profitable anymore.
But it gets complicated, though, because as we saw this map of the United States with various states having different regulations, some states are banning it altogether. Why isn't a collective United States effort, why is it up to Massachusetts or California, per se, to pass something on their own?
I think what we're finding in the United States specifically is that there's really a public groundswell of support for trying to do more. So we're pushing the federal government, and the Obama administration has been very clear and very supportive of new mechanisms to try and stop ivory from coming into America. But obviously that can be related to the importation of elephant ivory or the movement of ivory in between states. But individual states and the citizens therein, such as Massachusetts and California and elsewhere, also want ivory to be prohibited within the state, not just from coming in, from being sold, whether it's already there or not. And obviously, because you can't really tell legal ivory from illegal ivory, once it gets into a state, if there's not a statewide ban, you can sell it fraudulently. So that's why these states are taking action all across the country.
So what's the answer here if it is on the demand side? Is it harsher penalties, tougher laws, fines? What's the answer?
I think partly it's all of those things. I think the first thing is to have these unequivocal bans. The minute you start to water down these laws and say this kind of ivory can be sold or that kind of ivory can be sold, the market exists. And so we have to stop the market for ivory altogether. And then we have to have very strict penalties that makes the cost of doing business so great that people won't engage in that illegal commercialization of wildlife products. And then lastly, there has to be strong enforcement, because if people don't think they're going to be arrested, prosecuted, and fined or imprisoned, it's not going to have a great impact. And that's the case in the United States and everywhere on the planet.
Right. How do you know who has what in their house? You know, we see these high-profile figures coming out against this. We saw Prince William in the UK coming out about the ivory trade. And you know, he comes from a family of hunters. He has immediate family members who are big game hunters. Is there a little hypocrisy there when you have someone like that coming out, or does it matter? You also have actor Jackie Chan coming out, basketball star Yao Ming.
Mm-hmm. I think more and more across the globe, what we're starting to see is that high-profile figures are speaking out against the commercialization of wildlife. And again, it's not just about elephant ivory. It's rhino horn, tiger bone, bear gallbladders, all forms of commercialization of wild animals. And when these people speak out, it really does resonate with a large group of people. And so the key is trying to get the message to the people who will listen. And once they listen and the demand is reduced, I think the killing is going to stop on the ground.
All right, it's starting at least. Adam Roberts, Born Free USA, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.